I didn't know how desperate the Jets were going to be to dump players at the trade deadline this year. And the big reason for it, Zach, is how bad it's been for this team for the last couple of years. I don't think they can truly go belly up. With that said, I talked to a source this week who said if the Jets are sitting there 0-8, 0-9, there's a good chance a mandate comes from above that says basically anyone with value that you do not believe is going to be on this team in 2 or 3 years, trade them. Because we're not going to pay them. There's no point in trying to round it. Just do whatever you can to get A, the most possible draft capital you can, and B, also just lose the games to ensure you get the number 1 pick and we can get the quarterback and move on. That's what I was told this week. It kind of made me change how I was thinking about the draft where, you know what? Keep Breece Hall for the rest of this year. Let him walk, get a 4th-round compensatory instead of a 5th round this year. Play out Jermaine Johnson this year. Don't necessarily trade him. If the Jets lose to Cincy, which I think both of us think is going to happen, I think we could be approaching fire sale time for the Jets, where a lot of these guys that maybe were on the fence of being traded do actually get traded. I think that could happen.
Yeah, I'm just mostly interested to see whether that they'd actually trade guys that are under contract beyond this season. I think Michael Carter II is probably gone. I think especially because he probably lost his starting job. I'm curious if John Simpson would be on the move because I think you could get something for a quality starting offensive lineman who is going to be a free agent. There's Quinnen Williams, I think, makes a lot of sense, especially for a team like the 49ers and Robert Sala's defense, and they don't have Fred Warner. Like I could see Quinnen Williams getting traded. The big questions would be Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald would be like the 3 big guys under contract who probably have the most value on this team of guys that you're actually willing to trade.
Yeah.
What would it take to trade them, and would you do it if you got that? If somebody met that match, you only trade Quinnen Williams if you're getting a first, probably, or a bundle of seconds.
Interesting you bring that up. Yeah. Sorry, keep going, Zach. I'm sorry. I'll get to that.
No. I mean, it has to be the right value. I wouldn't trade Jermaine Johnson or Quinnen Williams personally, but if someone comes to you with I don't know what you're looking for with Jermaine, if it's a 2 and a 4. It's hard to say no to that because that's pretty good value. But I also just think Jermaine's a guy you build around, not a guy you trade. So that's kind of the question I have. Will McDonald is someone I also wouldn't trade because I don't really know what his value is, and I also think he's a good pass rusher, and you keep a guy like that.
So I made calls around the league last week and then checked in with guys again this week to gauge that interest. Now, these are not Jets sources. This is not what the Jets are looking for because I don't think what the Jets are looking for is at this point pertinent. I think what teams are willing to give up for these players is more pertinent. I think that's more noteworthy. That's more interesting. Breece Hall, I was told, Zach, you're likely looking at a 4th-round pick as the best-case scenario. And most of the people I touched base with found it very hard to believe the Jets were going to be able to get that. A 5th-round pick is most likely for Breece Hall. The reasoning for it is you have durability concerns with him. You also need to pay him after this year, so he's a rental player. I'd keep an eye on the Chargers there with him, though, because that's a team that makes a lot of sense for. Jermaine Johnson, I know that there have been ingoing and outgoing calls from Florham Park about Jermaine Johnson. This hasn't just been teams calling the Jets. The Jets have also been calling people. I think I know that Jermaine Johnson right now is viewed around the league as a player that is available for the right price. I don't know what the Jets are asking for from Jermaine Johnson. The team that I touched base with who had direct communication and discussions with the Jets simply told me, quote, too high. That's what I was told, was that they were asking for too much and it was too high of a pick and they were not going to go there. A reasonable offer for Jermaine Johnson, I was told, is a 3rd-round pick. You might find a team that's super desperate and goes at 2, but again, you're talking about a player who's a good, not great pass rusher, good run stuffer, coming off an Achilles injury and also already had, was it a calf already this year? Zach?
No, it was ankle. It was ankle.
Ankle, okay, ankle. Sorry, I think it was originally thought of a calf or something like that. But Jermaine Johnson, probably a 3rd-round pick. Will McDonald, I was told 2 or 3, depending on your value and your evaluation of him. He's not an every down player. He is a one-trick, rush up the field, go get the quarterback guy who is a liability against the run. And by the way, this year he's not rushing the passer particularly well. He doesn't have a sack since the opener. He has just one quarterback hit in each of the last 3 games. Not like he's Abdul Carter right now, who's not getting sacks but is getting a ton of pressures. Will McDonald isn't even necessarily doing that. You mentioned Quinnen Williams. I thought the same thing. 1st-round pick plus. 1 and a 3, 1 and a 4. I was told by somebody very tied into this situation that the Jets probably looking at a 2 for him. And the reasoning for that is there's no real substantial guaranteed money left on his deal after this year. Teams know there are rumblings around there that Quinnen Williams is currently unhappy. That's the perception outside of Florham Park. We haven't talked to Quinnen to ask him if he's unhappy. He 100% would not tell the media the truth if he's unhappy or not. But the perception out there is Quinnen's not necessarily happy. The Jets, it's known that the Jets have rebuffed his desires to have his contract restructured and adjusted and more guaranteed money added. So if he's going to be traded, it's because Quinnen wants out and the guaranteed money isn't necessarily there as they would expect. I don't know if I still trade him for a 2, man. He's so good. Like, Quinnen's really, really good. And if you move him, that sends, I think, a terrible message to the locker room. I really do. And I was on board of, hey, watch him to be moved, watch him to the Cowboys, watch him something like that. But if it's only a 2, that's a hard sell to the locker room.
Out of all the things you just said, I think trading Will McDonald for a 2 or 3 honestly makes the most sense to me because I think he is what he is, and I don't know that he's dominant enough to hold on to him if you don't believe in him necessarily. So, and they don't play him on running downs; they only play him on passing downs. So, I would trade Will McDonald for that kind of value. I personally wouldn't trade Jermaine for a 3. I wouldn't trade Quinnen for a 2, and so that's kind of where I'm at.
Last 2 here are Michael Carter. I heard day 3 pick. Alan Lazard, at best case scenario, would be a pick swap. And Quincy Williams, also a day 3 pick. Linebackers just aren't particularly valued.
Yeah.
And Quincy's also a scheme-specific
Injured
player. Injured and a scheme-specific player. He is a hair-on-fire, bull-in-China shop player. And that's why he worked so well with Robert Saleh. It was attack, 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 attack. When you got to start processing and thinking and more, that's kind of where Quincy falls out of place. So there's only some defenses he's going to work in.